As a child, Spring was a kinetic force, a blur of motion, who seemed to exist in a perpetual play mode with poor academics. But as he entered his teens, that energy curdled into a baffling inertia. He became anchored to his couch, immobile, despite mounting deadlines. To the outside observer, it looked like a character flaw. But according to the American Psychiatric Association, chronic procrastination plagues 20% of adults. A meta analysis proved that those who procrastinate have poorer academic performance. Is there a connection between procrastination and cognition? The biological tapestry Spring is stuck in is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD. Procrastination isn't a lapse in judgment, it is an insurmountable wall. Today, we deconstruct the neurobiology of the stuck brain, moving beyond time management to explore the dopamine driven mechanics of the mind, the engine of intention. At the heart of the struggle lies the prefrontal cortex, the brain's CEO, responsive for executive function, to plan, to regulate emotions, and initiate action. The CEO requires a steady currency of dopamine across the mesocortical and mesolimbic pathways. In the ADHD brain, these pathways are chronically understimulated. When a task is perceived as boring or non urgent, a neurotypical brain doesn't want to produce dopamine. But in Spring's brain, with insufficient dopamine all the time, every chore feels physically arduous. This is executive dysfunction, a biological disconnect between the desire to act and the ability to begin. Time blindness. When one says, I will do it later, whether they would do it or not, they know when later is. But what if someone doesn't know or understand that? That's Spring, and this is time blindness. In ADHD, it manifests as inability to accurately estimate duration, conceptualize the future self who will have to complete the task, distinguish between now and not now. When Spring suddenly realizes that he has forgotten the bill, cortisol levels surge, he panics, then failure, guilt, and burnout. Over time, with repetition, this gets mislabeled as laziness and unreliability. The shame spiral. Contemporary neuropsychiatry suggests that procrastination is less about time management and more about emotional dysregulation. When faced with a daunting task, brain's fear center, the amygdala, senses a threat. To escape this discomfort, the brain hunts for an immediate dopamine hit. This often manifests as productive procrastination, a defense mechanism of replacing important tasks with insignificant ones to avoid the pain of perceived inadequacy. That's why Spring often cleans his inbox instead of preparing for the interview. From management to accommodation, the clinical shift is moving from fixing the brain to accommodating its unique wiring. Effective strategies include: number 1, externalizing urgency, using visual timers to make time visible. Number 2, body doubling, working in the presence of others, real or virtual. 3, the 10-minute rule, committing to only 10 minutes to lower the barrier to entry. Procrastination is a symptom, not a soul crushing verdict on one's character. Reframing the struggle is about utilizing the correct clinical tools for a brain that simply speaks a different language. Stay tuned to Cognilink for more.